Gaza Strip continues to escalate as tensions rise.
UNT students pick up a brush and paint like pros.
Campus road closures that you may need to know about before you leave for class.
Broadcasting live from the University of North Texas, this is ntTV News at Noon.
Good afternoon. Thank you for joining ntTV News at Noon. I'm April Purdon.
And I'm Lillian Kosh.
An update on the Israel-Hamas war. More than 3,000 people have been killed in Gaza since the start of the war. The World Health Organization says the situation is still, quote, spiraling out of control. CNN's John Lawrence has the story.
As pro-Israeli and pro-Palestinian rallies are held separately in the U.S., Gaza is about to get some much-needed assistance.
Well, I got no pushback, virtually none. Let me say it again. I got no pushback.
From the Israelis or from all the partners here?
All the partners.
The Biden White House has earmarked $100 million worth of support for Gaza and the West Bank.
I was very blunt about the need to support getting humanitarian aid to Gaza. Get it to Gaza and do it quickly.
The funds will be used to support the more than 1 million people who've been displaced since the start of the war between Israel and Hamas.
Material has to get in to Gaza, medicine and food and fuel. Fuel, by the way, is not just for the civilian population. It powers things like desalination plants that help provide water.
Israel says it will eradicate Hamas after the militant group's attack on an Israeli music festival earlier this month that killed 1,400 people, while Palestinian officials are blaming Israel for Tuesday's deadly blast on a hospital in Gaza.
I went into the building and suddenly heard strikes. Many of my friends were killed.
A spokesperson for the Israel Defense Forces and U.S. government officials both believe Palestinian Islamic Jihad is to blame for the hospital attack, which the group denies. I'm John Lawrence reporting.
As tensions rise in the Middle East, oil prices follow suit. Oil prices continue to escalate after Iran called for an oil embargo on Israel over the conflict in Gaza. These prices climbed 2% on a 2-week high this Wednesday. The Organization of Petroleum Exporting Countries is not planning to take any immediate action. A barrel of oil is currently sitting around the $90 mark, but some analysts expect the oil prices to hit $100 a barrel due to the growing risk of regional escalation. So be ready for an increase of prices at the pump.
President Joe Biden has returned from his trip to Israel and is expected to make a primetime Oval Office address this evening. The address comes on the eve of the White House requesting more than $100 billion from Congress. The president will take the stage at 7 p.m. tonight. Biden is making a direct appeal to the American people to continue funding the wars happening abroad. The money would go towards aid and resources to Ukraine, Israel, Taiwan, and the U.S. border with Mexico. The U.S. also announced $100 million in humanitarian assistance to the people of Gaza and the West Bank. Lillian, I don't know about you, but I am loving this nice cold breeze, and my morning walks to class has been perfect.
I mean, it's great and all. I know I've been complaining about the hot weather, but honestly, I'm a little chilly, and I'm kind of hoping the temperatures rise a little bit. Yeah. Let's toss it over to our weather anchor, Piper Gifford, to give us a better look at how our weather will be this week. Piper?
Thanks, guys. It feels beautiful outside. I know it's a little chilly in the mornings, but it feels great right now. We have sunny skies. Current temperature is 69 degrees. Feels like 68 because our wind speeds are a little high up there at 10 miles per hour. Now, if you plan on going to Twilight Tunes tonight, let's take a look at tonight's forecast. 70 degrees outside. Absolutely beautiful, clear skies. It'll feel like 68 and our wind speeds will be at 6 miles per hour. Now let's take a look at our Friday. 90 degrees. We're getting a little hotter out there, but if you want to hit the pool, this might be your last weekend to do so. It'll feel like 92 degrees and our wind speed will be 8 miles per hour. We may have some storms next weekend, but I will tell you that later on in the show. For now, let's get back to the desk.
Thanks, Piper. Well, it was a place where convicts were forced to work, some even being worked to their death. Nearly a century later, what was known as the Harlem Prison Farm will be the home to Fort Bend Independent School District's new elementary school. KPRC's Sabraya Rayford reports on the concerns with the future plans.
Nobody would believe him.
Marilyn Moore says her late husband, Reginald, dedicated his life to uncovering the truth about convict leasing and prison farms.
Convict leasing is where prisoners were leased to landowners to work.
A spokesperson said the site was chosen because of the need for a school, saying it is difficult to find a piece of large land large enough to accommodate the needs of a school.
Coming up next, investigation on the death of a Texas A&M student continues. Find out why.
And a new construction on campus might delay your route to school. Stay with us.
What does Talons do?
So I'm the Vice President of External Relations for Talons. That means that I basically oversee all the external committees. Our external committees entail our Model A, it's a mean green machine. So they bring it to football games especially, so every game it's kind of there, every home game. The Model A is like a symbol of UNC pride, and it's a big tradition that we are so lucky to uphold and maintain. When people look at it, they see it, and they're like, oh, that's the mean green machine. There must be a game today or something to ramp up school spirit for basketball, softball, volleyball, any of those things. We have amazing teams, so we just want to show school spirit for them. Bonfire Committee, which is in charge of putting together the bonfire every year for homecoming. It's kind of just a whole semester-long process up until Build Week that we have to put together and oversee and make sure safety regulations are followed and risk management is taken care of. Cannon Crew, which oversees and takes care of the cannon. They fire it at games, they take it to special occasions.
A&M freshman was found dead Sunday morning in the courtyard outside of her dorm after reportedly falling off the balcony. The school has identified her as a health major named Brittany Romero. Campus police are investigating the death, and the school says a justice of the peace has ordered an autopsy. Texas A&M has offered condolences to Romero's family and is encouraging counseling to students affected by the incident.
The Supreme Court decided Monday it doesn't matter if you build it yourself, a gun is a gun. The justices issued a decision allowing the federal government to regulate ghost guns. Ghost guns are guns made from kits that can be bought online that do not have serial numbers or require background checks. They can't be traced and can easily be obtained by people otherwise unable to purchase guns. The decision does not prohibit the sale or possession of a ghost gun kit, but it allows the government to enforce federal gun laws. The law will only remain in effect while a legal challenge brought by manufacturers plays out in lower court.
Just in time for flu season, customers of Amazon Pharmacy located in College Station can now receive their prescriptions via drone. Eligible customers will have access to over 500 medications, including treatments for the common cold or asthma. The flu service pharmacy can be accessed online, and when paired with the drones, aims to help with the spread of sickness by providing a non-contact prescription and delivery service. Right now, Prime Time is only available in 2 locations in the U.S., but the company plans to expand to other states in 2024 as well as Europe.
Okay, maybe they'll expand their product line because maybe they'll start like shipping some Halloween costumes. Do you think the weather will like affect how they ship things?
You know, I think it will, but that would be super interesting to have just like order something online and have it like fly to your doorstep.
Well, okay, well, if those drones do come to Denton, you bet I'm not ordering something on a cold, windy day like this. Piper, do you think this week would be a good week for some air delivery, or do you think I should steer clear?
Thanks, guys. Well, I can't speak on Amazon's delivery service, but I can tell y'all that we have some beautiful weather out here today. If you look across the region, we have, high 60s, low 70s. It's amazing. If we take a look across the entire state, we're going to see, same temperatures, but down here in Houston, 80 degrees. They're a little warmer down there. I bet they're a little bit jealous. I know those Astros are. Let's take a look at our 7-day forecast. We do have some storms coming up later in the week next week, but from Friday through Monday, it looks gorgeous. We have those warmer temperatures, but at night it'll cool off. On Tuesday, that's when we start to see our storms. We have a 50% chance of rain. Wednesday, 40% chance. Thursday, we're gonna wean off of those stormy weathers, but we still do have a 30% chance of rain. That's it for weather today. Back to you guys at the desk.
Thanks, Piper. Well, if you find yourself on campus today, you might notice the construction that's taking over our sidewalks and roadways.
Yes, in fact, on my way into the studio this morning, I had to avoid the bulldozer they had pulling up all
right
the
outside.
concrete, yes, from that walkway. And our reporter, Meredith Billings, is actually live on the site to give us a scoop on the construction and ways to avoid it. Meredith?
Thanks, guys. Absolutely. I'm standing here at the corner of Maple and Avenue C, where, as you can see, Atmos Energy has been working to replace a gas main line since earlier this month. The construction is affecting both foot traffic and 2 bus routes during the area's temporary closures. This map shows what areas will be unavailable during these shutdowns. The Honors Hall stop will be closed, and commuters are encouraged to use Maple Hall or other nearby stops during that time. The construction is expected to continue until early January, but UNT will provide a 24-hour notice before each closure. These announcements will be available on social media at UNT Transit and UNT facilities on Instagram, X, and Facebook. Until the roads go back to normal, be careful and plan your route ahead of time. That's all for here. Back to you at the studio.
Thanks, Meredith. With only days away until Halloween, find out popular costume trends that you might want to try this spooky season.
And hear the heartwarming story of a local family of bowlers and their experience with diabetes. More after the break.
And now we return to Fabric of Passion.
Oh, Hector, it will be so hard for us to part, but we must.
But, my love, what did I do? I thought we were meant to be together forever.
I am so disheartened to say that you're just not in style anymore. But you will be, to someone else, in a better place.
You gonna shred me?
No.
I'm donating you to one of the many clothing donation boxes available on campus. There is one in the Union by the Syndicate and one on Union Circle Drive.
Oh, well, why didn't you just say so? I'm gonna be someone's new shirt.
I thought you'd be more distressed.
Oh, absolutely not. It was cramped in your closet anyways.
Maybe you would like to be shredded after all.
Man, I have all these non-perishable food items and I don't know what to do with them.
I don't have any food at all.
Do you have too many non-perishable goods?
Yeah.
Have you run out of food and can't get any more?
Yeah.
Well, don't have a cow? Head on down to the UNT Food Pantry. Located behind Crumley Hall and Diamond Eagle Student Resource Center, the Food Pantry is the place for UNT students to get all the food they need. You'll be utterly surprised by all the options they have there. From gluten-free to lactose intolerant, even vegan and vegetarian, they have it all. Go to studentaffairs.unt.edu/food pantry for more information.
Move on down to the UNT Food Pantry.
Tonight, the Sunday Rockers will headline Twilight Tunes, the October concert series at Wolf's Park on Industrial Street. This event kicks off at 6 p.m. just in time for sunset, so be sure to bring out some blankets and chairs to enjoy the show as the fall temperatures continue to drop.
April, it looks like pink might be the new black.
That is right, Lillian. According to Google, Spirit Halloween Workers and HalloweenCostumes.com, Barbie is trending for the #1 costume this spooky season. The doll sports many variations and outfits for trick-or-treaters to choose from, including President Barbie, Cowgirl Barbie, and a neon roller skating ensemble. The second most popular costume is a princess, followed by Spider-Man. So if you plan on venturing out on Halloween this year, you just might find yourself in Barbie land.
Well, I think we might need to rethink our costumes. I'll ditch my, Amazon air delivery costume, and we can go as Anchor Barbie.
Ooh, yes. We can dress up as a duo, and I can go as Reporter Barbie.
Perfect. I can tell these Barbie costumes are gonna be a big hit. And one other popular costume that I seem to see every year is the man who made famous for his happy little accidents.
Oh yeah, Bob Ross is pretty popular. In fact, on this week's Seen and Heard, Brian Alger takes us to the UNT event that took his art off the canvas and into the 21st century. Brian?
Thanks, guys. Art at the University Union? No, that headline's not a mistake. Just happy little accident. This last Thursday, 50 UNT students raised their brushes and painted along to Bob Ross's instructional video, The Grandeur of Summer. Let's take a look at their works of art.
Outside, starting outside, maybe he lives right here.
This is UNT's Bob Ross Paint-Along, an event where students paint along to acclaimed artist Bob Ross's instructional video, The Grandeur of Summer.
Touching the canvas is that little tiny roll.
This is Bob Ross Paint-Along. My coworker Haley and I, we basically kind of come up with a lot of the event ideas. We help our boss Stephanie plan them and think about what kind of supplies we would need for the events. I love painting because it makes me happy. I enjoy it and it's my passion.
I just finished with the hour-long Bob Ross paint-along. It was so much fun. It was my first time watching one of his videos, so I really liked that I got to experience something like that. And I got to paint along with it because I had the supplies, which was really cool. It was a little fast-paced, but it was still so much fun. And I know it wasn't perfect, but it was still fun just goofing off. There's a Walmart sign.
Join us next time for more news and happy little trees. I'm Brian Alger with ntTV News. Now back to the desk.
Thanks, Brian. Well, right in between Denton and Dallas lies Louisville, the town pro bowler Chris Barnes calls home. Barnes is a 19-time Professional Bowlers Association champion and has bowled 55 perfect games in his career. But behind all the accolades, the story of his family is much deeper. ntTV's Drew Maurer has the story.
Bowling lanes around the country are packed with families every day, but one sticks out among the rest. Chris Barnes and his family are bowling icons, but their story goes much deeper than the sport they love.
These AMF bowling lanes have been Chris's home alley for a majority of his career. But for Chris, it goes beyond just these lanes. Chris's son Troy was diagnosed with type 1 diabetes at just 6 years old. But for the Barnes family, it was an obstacle they could overcome.
It was pretty wild when we actually found out about Troy. We were actually at Disney World, and at the end he was so tired and he was having to go to the restroom all the time. That's when we found out, and our world kind of turned upside down, and we became expert label readers, among other things.
15 years later, Troy has made the journey to college. Being on his own, however, has presented a new challenge.
It's the first time in my life I'm on my own. If anything happens, it's up to me to figure it out. So obviously that pressure is nerve-wracking at times.
You just feel so helpless. We can't really change it. We can help him along, but we can't even, once you get to a certain age, you have to take on all that burden and you live with it every day.
Chris and his family have helped, though, using their platform to create a fundraiser in support of those dealing with type 1 diabetes.
It was a way for us to be able to raise some money and feel better about it, contributing towards hopefully a cure.
Seeing the amount of work that, my mom and dad both put into it, being there at the event and seeing how many people showed up and how much money was raised, and just the outreach was incredible.
Troy has now picked up and gotten the bug a little bit, bowling down at SFA, and he started to bowl as a 298 game, a 299 game, and I think it won't be long before he shoots 300.
ntTV News, I'm Drew Maurer.
To donate to Troy's cause and the Juvenile Diabetes Research Foundation, please visit www.jdrf.org/donate.
Wow, what a truly inspiring story.
Truly.
Honestly, Leanne, I have not gone bowling in a really long time.
Neither have I. I think we should maybe catch a game or something after.
I would love that.
Get into it. Maybe our sports anchor, Jalen Tucker, would like to join us. What do you think, Jalen? Are you down for some bowling?
Thanks, ladies. I would love to join you ladies for a fun game of bowling. I will say, I'm pretty competitive. But first, stay with us because I got the latest sports update after the break, so stay tuned.
Good evening, my name is Amanda Hasbell and I'm joining you here today in the Union parking garage. Today we're going to be going over how to drive safely in the parking garage. Let's go see. Oh my god, this girl just got hit by a car. Let's go see what happened. Ma'am, are you okay? Did you see that lady hit me with a car? Yeah, we did. I got it all on video.
Oh my god.
Let's go over here and talk about how we can prevent that.
Yeah, not the hospital.
Well, right now we're going to ask you a couple questions on how we can drive safely in the parking lot. What are ways that we can be aware of our surroundings?
Oh, we can look both ways.
Jenna, also, how about putting the distractions away?
Yes, just like our phones, turning our music down, and also not focusing on our passengers.
Where can you get information on how to get a parking pass?
Transportation.unt.edu.
If you park in a garage, make sure you pay on the app or look for further instructions on how you should pay.
And remember, no pass, no park. Let's all try to keep our Mean Green community safe.
Remember, we're all in this together.
Drive safe.
Welcome back, UNT sports fans. Your Mean Green Eagles soccer team plays Charlotte tonight at home at 7 p.m. for senior night. Tonight, we honor 5 seniors: Avery Barron, Megan Browsey, David Flannery, Rachel Roebuck, and Maddie Starrett. UNT only have 3 home games left to wrap up the 2023 season. The Eagles are undefeated at home this season and are ranked number 3 in the West Division for the American. Both teams are trying to secure their spot in the American Athletic Conference Championship on October 31st through November 5th. So let's go out and support our Eagles. Now, speaking on more about UNT Eagles, another big game win for junior quarterback Chandler Rogers and junior wide receiver Jamore Macklin, with the defense shutting down the Temple Owls in the second half to score UNT their first conference game win, 45-15. Rogers passed for 307 yards to tie his career high mark with additional 4 touchdowns. And Macklin also hit a career high with 163 yards on 6 grabs and 2 more touchdowns to bring his season total to 8 in the past 6 games. The defense had their best performance of this year with 3 interceptions, which allowed Temple to be scoreless in the second half. The Eagles hit the road to face a ranked Tulane team in New Orleans, Louisiana, this Saturday at 2:30 Central Time, streamed on ESPN+. So let's put up a fight, Eagles. And I know you Eagles love some Texas Rangers. Last night at a sold-out Global Life Field, the Rangers headed to Game 3 against the Houston Asteroids and unfortunately lost 8-5, with the Rangers still leading the series 2-1. Josh Jung hit 2 home runners for the Rangers, with his second one pulling 3 runs in the bottom of the 7th inning. Wasn't enough for our Rangers, but we're still leading the season. We only need 1 game to clinch the World Series spot. The game's at 8:03 p.m. at Globe Life, so it's a must-win for our Rangers. So let's go, Rangers. That's all for sports. Back to you guys.
Thank you, Jalen.
And thank you for talking about the Astros win. We'll grab some tissues because this story is so sweet it might just bring you to tears.
That's right. This week in Nebraska, a blood donation unlike any other took place.
A kitten at a humane society would have died over the weekend if it wasn't for a Siberian Husky's blood. Aaron Hagarty has the story.
It's not a figure of speech. This kitty has the blood of a husky.
This baby would have died overnight if we hadn't given him blood.
Dr. Katie James says Thorne came in Sunday with his 2 brothers as strays, covered in fleas, bitten so many times he'd become anemic, low on blood, in very bad shape.
Like face planting into his kennel and mouth full of litter.
There wasn't enough time to find a matching cat blood type, so they used a dog's, which is much less risky.
I think I terrified a couple other people when I said, yeah, let's get a dog to transfuse into a cat, but clearly it worked.
Thorne will only have dog blood for a little bit.
His immune cells are building up, his dog blood cells are going down, but his normal cat blood cells are also increasing.
And this is our Siberian hero, Mr. Brett Michaels. A donor is covering his adoption fee, and he's still looking for a new home. Brett's name is where the kitty's new name, Thorne, comes from, the song Every Rose Has Its Thorn. The 6-year-old is unique in his own way. We got him to sit still long enough to show off his eyes. One is blue, and the other is brown. And apparently he shares some traits with the kitten he helped save.
We joked that he is as active as he is and as hungry as he is because he has some Siberian Husky blood in him now.
And for the vet techs, a rewarding moment.
There's definitely very hard days with lots of tough cases. Hannah is very new here for us, but I'm sure you can agree too that it's...
Oh, for sure.
This makes it worthwhile.
Oh, yes. Well, if you want to get your hands on one of those tiny kittens, they will be ready for adoption in 4 short weeks.
So cute. Well, thanks for watching ntTV News at noon.
Join us again tonight at 6 here on North Texas Television.